Well, I can't believe it. I finally got it done. Come on in, welcome to my home. It's time for my Christmas reveal. Yes, after all that work, all those delays, all those problems, it is finally done, and I can honestly say this has been my favorite Christmas of all. Simply because I think these Christmas decorations reflect me the most. And from the moment that you walk in, you can really see my style, my taste, my just about everything. Couple things I would change, but we'll get into that. So let's start at the beginning, where you actually come in. So for the first thing that you see is you see this view behind me. And I love this. I just think this is really wonderful. There's a ton of different things going on here, and I mean like a ton of different things, where it doesn't look like it's heavily decorated, it's heavily decorated. Everything from the tree to just the wreath around the lights, or to the candles that are actually in the cabinets or in some of the lanterns. Most of the candles are battery or rechargeable candles, which I absolutely love. If you are wondering like links for things that I've used, products that I've used, some of these products I've got free to test, some of these products I've bought, but I've linked as many things as I possibly could down in the description. And if you're wondering how I did some of the things, check out the past videos, because it does go into more of the detail for the things like the garlands, which took a long time and took more things than you think that they would do, because when you look at the garlands, there are like tons of things in them. There's fake cedar, there's pine cones, there's eucalyptus sprays, there are all sorts of fake flowers in them. And if you're wondering why I went with fake flowers, it's simply because today's date is November 13th. I've been working on this for about a month, so from late October till now, like some of these decorations have been up, and yes, I would have loved to have actual live pine trees and things, but they would never have lasted that long. So we have to go with fake, and that's something you're going to have to think of, is how long are the items that you're going to have going to be up. And then there are other things to think of, is weight. Because of the things like the garland, if those were actual pine with real pine and that sort of stuff, that garland would weigh a ton. Now, one of the things which I'm famously known for is my overuse of lights, and this time I use these little mini lights, and they are just really nice, and I wrapped the trees in tons of them. The trees have tons of them, the garlands have tons of them, they're just everywhere. Now, one of the things I would change, next year I'm going to try to find the warm white, because most of these come off as yellow. Not really in love with the yellow, but it's what I could get my hands on, and that goes back to my video about the planning ahead, because there were lots and lots of delays. In fact, even as we speak, I still have a few things which haven't arrived and will never be used this Christmas. But let's go over some of the things that I really love about this. I am a big lover of plants. You probably know this. I use plants wherever I can, and this is just over-the-top plants. There are so many different plants in all of these trees. In fact, some of the garland has even the pine garland base with the lights, then there's actual pine picks put in there, then there's cedar put in there, so there's lots and lots of different things which layer upon layer upon layer makes the individual units. And the cool thing about this, by putting it up early, I could take my time and really work with it. And I would say each garland took about a day to do, because there was the whole assembling the pine cones, because the pine cones are actually hot glued and then wired, because I did not like the idea of how it looked when I used twine to attach the pine cones. It looked too much like a pine cone ornament, and I wanted something that looked more natural. Well, as natural as fake pine could possibly look. So I did that. That was a process to get all of those done. Would I have liked to have more pine cones? Oh yeah. I would love to have had more pine cones. The wreath was really simple. It is just a regular pine wreath, then with the cedar added to it. A lot of things are just the little picks of flowers added into a vase, then with cedar. Candlelight. This is the whole thing about this is you have to think about the fact that your Christmas decorations will show up in day and at night. Will they look good at night? Well, the only way to find out is to turn on the lights and see if they look good at night. When I decorate, I do decorate with my lights on versus with my lights off, simply because then I can see where things are. Now, some of you are probably going to complain about the garland looking messy because it isn't, it looks more natural. It looks more like, sort of like the Spanish moss hanging from the trees. Yeah, that's what I like. That 100% is my style. This more natural, but way over the top with the use of ridiculous amounts of things in it. It is 100% my style. Will I probably repeat this next year? Don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do for next year. But this year I have something which is so peaceful and so serene that when I sit in my house at night and I put a fireplace video on the TV, it's just so relaxing and so calming. And I just feel like I'm at home where I want to be, and it's just magical. And I think that's the whole big thing about Christmas. You want something that's going to be magical in your style. Find your style of magic so that way you can have your magic. And like I said, this was really pieced together slowly, and I mean very slowly. As in, like, even the bookcase, which has all the pine and the pine swags and all that. It's lots of pieces. It's lots and lots and lots of pieces stuck in there. And none of these pieces are wired in so that next year, or actually at the end of this year, I can take this all apart, put it away, and next year do something else. I have already ordered new swags. Yes, I know some of you will be thrilled to know that I have new garland coming so that way I'll have better garland up at the window. So it's on its way. But I will probably be keeping the skinny tree because this is all the room that I have. I need a skinny tree. But I'm loving every minute of this. It's just so serene. Let's take a look. It is amazing what just a few things, alright, so there's a lot of things, I'm not going to lie to you, but they're repeated. That's the one thing which sort of kept this whole thing going, is that there's a repeat of just about everything everywhere. The cedar is in the arrangements, is on the tree, the eucalyptus, the pine, it's all repeated, so it gives you one cohesive feeling, even though it's very, very different per room simply because of what it does. The pine cones, which are on the swags on the window, are also on the bed, so those pine cones, they tie into each other. It gives you a nice cohesive theme without being completely matchy-matchy. And the one thing I also did this year is I normally put a tree in my bedroom, but since from laying in bed I can see the tree that's right there, I didn't feel the need to put it in there. And it really is so nice to just lay in bed. Now, one of the biggest things which I have talked about before, all of these things are on switches that I can control with, trying to find my phone, with my phone or my smart home assistant, so that way I can set up timers so I can fall asleep with my Christmas lights on and then have them turn off. The one thing I am looking forward to getting for next year is an IR blaster. You're probably wondering what an IR blaster is. I will be able to control, see the lights which are flickering, those candles? They use infrared. The IR blaster will be able to blast that infrared signal throughout the room. They'll probably get a couple of them, so that way I'll be able to also control that with my phone and with my home assistant or whatever you're using for your smart home, if you're using a smart home, and I don't have to crawl and try to get things there and all that stuff. So I'll be able to turn on all of these with one flip of one switch, and we'll talk about more of that next year. I really would like to concentrate more on Christmas next year, because this is one of my favorite things to do, is decorate for Christmas. And this took a while. This took a long time. And I should have been working on this for months. Sort of like the fruitcake, which is still marinating. Well, let me know what you think about this, and I would love to hear how your decorations look like. How did you do this year? Do you love it? Do you not love it? Are you going to do some changes? Do you go with a different theme each year, or do you do something traditional? I'd like to take this time to thank these wonderful people who let me decorate in the middle of September through October and November. They help me decide what I'm going to put in all these videos, and they also help me decide what it is, which is a lot of fun that they want to see. If you'd like to join this and get these videos early and get a weekly vlog where you see some of the things that I've done to make all of this happen, you get more behind the scenes. Go ahead and join either the channel members or Patreon, which helps support this channel and really does keep it going. It keeps me doing this, because without this I'd have to get a different job. So yeah, if you want to do that, if you would like to also like and share this video, it lets YouTube algorithms know that, hey, this video should be seen by other people. And if you want more deep dives into how some of these things got made and all of my Christmas decorations for next year, let me know down in the comments, and I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.